Released in Japan on the 24th of June 2004 and in Europe on November 16th 2005 for the PlayStation 2, we have Paparazzi. Developed by Hunex and published by D3 Publisher in Japan and 505 Games in Europe, Paparazzi was known in Japan as Simple Series 2000, Volume 53, The Camera Kozo. The Simple Series games were budget titles published by D3 Publisher in Japan, and the number generally represented the price of the game in yen before tax, so the Simple Series 2000 games were 2000 yen before tax. A few series did have their humble beginnings as Simple Series games, and the most notable examples are Monster Attack, which would go on to become Earth Defense Force, and Zombie Zone, which became known in the West as Onechanbara. In this game, you're not really playing as a paparazzi, just a guy of simple tastes in idols and models who just wants to take photos of them. He gets a few pointers on taking photos from his friend Akira, who casually gives him a camera he's about to throw away, and attends public events where the idol or model poses for the camera. The game features 3 models to choose from. You have Nano, an internet idol whose specialty, at least according to the manual, is fast typing on the computer. Riho, the outgoing and sporty idol, as well as D3's poster girl, appearing in a lot of other games D3 has had a hand in. And Rena, a model who isn't particularly tech savvy. In order to progress in the game, you need to take some quality photos and obtain a certain amount of points, and to maximize that you need to get the subject's attention by participating in various button-based minigames. But is Paparazzi any good? Find out in The Good. The game's point system, I guess, is a handy feature. Points obtained in the game, whether you succeed or fail, add up and can be used to purchase things that'll make the game easier for you, such as lenses for your camera, spare film, and photo editing software, to name a few. Getting spare film early on does put you at an advantage, as it allows you to maximise the amount of points that you can potentially get from a session. Photos taken are graded, and ones that won't work will have an explanation as to why, such as the subject being out of focus or being exposed through the flash of your rival photographers, to name a couple. You can also choose a favourite photo to give to your idol or model as well. During a session you can also change position and get different angle shots of the subject. However, certain shots are frowned upon and you will receive a point penalty for those. Aside from that, there really isn't much good from this game, so let's move on with the bad. I found the story of the game to be quite bland, to the point where it's pretty much identical for all 3 characters. You go out, you take photos, if you meet the point requirement, continue, if not, you'll get a game over and you try again. Getting game overs when you get started isn't unusual, and you can use the points obtained to get extra film in order to pass. But the game essentially goes in this order: shooting in a studio, shooting by a poolside, shooting at the park, shooting at a car show, and if you did well enough, a one-on-one session with the idol or model herself. Each character wears a different outfit for each location, and thankfully there was some effort in making outfits different, as well as the characters' walking animations and poses. The manual features of the camera I feel is a bit overbearing to some players of the game. While you'll be taking photos on automatic most of the time, there will come a time where you'll use the manual feature, which will allow you to adjust things such as focus, exposure, aperture and shutter speed. The problem is that you don't see what the results of the settings are until after the session, and if you haven't gotten your settings right, say goodbye to any points you're going to get from that session. This creates an unnecessary need to experiment with trial and error. While you can get software to adjust the exposure, I found that it only works on photos that you've saved to the album, making getting it in the first place useless. Alternatively, you can ignore the game telling you to use the manual feature and still take photos on automatic anyway, making the entire point of it meaningless. The button-based minigames I found were a little silly. In order to get the subject to look your way, you can perform one of 4 tasks. You can dance to grab their attention, jump, call out to them, or wave. Each task is accompanied by a minigame which range from memorizing button inputs to even putting a certain amount of pressure on the circle button. From there you can raise your attention with the subject and then ask them to look your way, pose for you, or change locations. Problem is that even after doing the minigames right, the subject won't necessarily do what you wanted to do, forcing you to do the minigames all over again, as well as wasting your session time, which can frustrate you to no end if she declines your request twice in a row. Also, successed? Part of the QA and translation would need some work. I don't seem to understand this game's grading system as well. While it seems straightforward to get points for taking photos that meet the stage requirements, if you happen to take a photo while one of your fellow photographers is in the picture, indicated by a silhouette, then the image is still considered acceptable. Am I up against ghost photographers here? Are Akira and I both dead? Are we both in heaven, or is this our personal hell? You can get editing software which removes that, but if the image is still accepted without it, I don't really see the point in investing in it. I think that about covers the bad, so it's about time I give the opinion. Honestly, I can't really recommend this game. It at least allows you to take photos, but there's other games out there that handle that better too, most notably Pokemon Snap and Africa. Hell, if you really want to take photos of idols, you also have Idolmaster games for that too. And then again, for a game that was part of the Simple 2000 series, for 2000 yen before tax, you really shouldn't be expecting too much. I'd say pick up the game if it really piques your interest, but I feel it's only good to kill a couple of hours. So with that, it's time for my rating. I would give Paparazzi on the PlayStation 2 a full frontal shot out of 10. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next Infinite Backlog review. If you enjoyed today's review, feel free to check out our other videos and subscribe for more. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram and our Facebook page. Once again, thank you for watching.